he?
More news today. A top United Nations official is accusing the US president of violating international law. He claims Barack Obama's decision to absolve CIA officials who use torture tactics is illegal. It follows the release a few weeks back of Bush-era memos showing the sanctioning of interrogation methods like simulated drowning, sleep deprivation and slamming prisoners into walls. Well, RT's Anastasia Churkin is in New York for us today. Hi there. What does the UN Special Rapporteur have to support his claims then?
Well, Kevin, the United Nations top torture investigator, Manfred Nawak, has said that it is illegal for the Barack Obama administration not to prosecute CIA officers who carried out torture sanctioned by the Bush administrations. The top investigator says that the United States must try those who had been carrying out harsh interrogation techniques. And the main reason he names for that is very simple, actually. He says the United States is among the countries who have signed on to the United Nations Convention Against Torture. And it's very simple. If you've signed on to this important international document, you have to abide by it. If not, this can be seen as a breach of international law, which could have pretty negative consequences for the United States image. Now, the United Nations top torture investigator has said that the U.S. is committed and should be committed to conducting criminal investigations of torture and to bringing all those against whom there is evidence to court. Now, it's important that he says that even though some officers may claim that they were simply carrying out an order, this should not relieve them from responsibility. The top United Nations torture investigator, Manfred Nawak, has said that an independent investigation should be carried out and victims should be compensated. Now, whether or not these calls will be heard at the White House, of course, remains to be seen, but Manfred Nawak now plans to travel to Washington for a range of meetings with Washington officials.
Yes, Anastasia, how far is Mr. Nawak going to take this? Is he in fact going to be taking on the president then at the end of the day and the president's wishes?
Excuse me, Kevin?
I was saying, how far is he going to take this, Mr. Nawak, at the end of the day? Is he going to take on the president then?
Well, of course, that is very unlikely since this is a United Nations official. He's a very high figure, a top torture investigator, and he can assess the situation, and this is what we're seeing him do. Whether, of course, these statements will be heard by Barack Obama, there is no way for this United Nations official to impose his beliefs on the Obama administration, but of course he can call the attentions of the United Nations and the United Nations Security Council, and then they could somehow have an impact on this whole situation in the future. But so far, we're not seeing this happen, and we're not expecting that.
Anastasia, how has Mr. Obama justified his comments? On one hand, he's disclosed the widely condemned tactics during the Bush era. On the other, though, he's protecting those who are engaged in it.
You're absolutely right, Kevin. Barack Obama has said that those CIA officers who were simply carrying out orders sanctioned by the Bush administration should not be prosecuted, and he has said that nothing will be gained by spending our time and energy laying blame for the past. And this was the reason, this was his justification for not wanting to prosecute these officials, and this is what caused this huge wave of criticism throughout the United States. In the media and the blogs and human rights organizations have been saying that Barack Obama, during his election campaign, promised transparency and accountability. And transparency is one of the things that he has shown when he disclosed these Bush memos to the public. However, accountability is one thing that the American public is yet to see. And another interesting argument in criticism of these fresh statements have been that basically there could be another president in the United States who could want to carry out similar policies to George Bush, and if he sees that, he looks back on Barack Obama's reactions, not prosecuting and not bringing those responsible to court, this could just give more reason to repeat actions that have been largely criticized of the Bush administration when it comes to torture and similar activities.
Well, nice to see you and the rest of the team in New York for RT. They're very much across this story. It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out over the coming weeks and months. Thanks for bringing us up to date.